So you know that amino acids are, of course, the building blocks of the proteins, and proteins are the major functional and structural machineries of your body, and they are all the time getting degraded and generated, getting degrading and degenerated, and form the proteins. And of course, then amino acids also, they are also being formed and degraded, formed and degraded. So as a result of this, there is always you can always, intuitively you can think it that it would be inevitable. If there is any problem in the metabolism of the amino acids, it will have some real clinical significances. That is why we see that a lot of diseases, especially the inborn diseases, are related to the problems in the or abnormalities in the metabolism of amino acids. Certainly, there are specifically the enzymes which are involved in the metabolism of these amino acids. The body is deficient of those enzymes, or either these enzymes are mutated in whatever way because of certain mutations, and hence the amino acid, because of the incapability of the enzyme to perform their function, they start getting accumulated in your body, and they definitely have harmful effects on your body. It leads to developmental issues, intellectual disabilities. So many of the amino acid problems related with the amino acid deficiencies, they are related with also intellectual disabilities. More than 50 disorders are related with the amino acids. It shows that how significant is this problem. One of the most common disease, one of the most common disorder whenever we are talking about the diseases which are caused by amino acid metabolism or problem in the amino acid metabolism is the PKU, phenylketonuria. 1 into 15,000, it's high incidence, and actually it happens because the phenylalanin is not converted into the tyrosine. There is the enzyme phenylalanin hydroxylase, because the deficiency of this enzyme or because of this enzyme is not properly functioning, so you will not get the tyrosine, and as a result there is accumulation of phenylalanine in your body. It will, of course, high phenylalanine level also mean the low tyrosine level. As I have already told you that it leads to the deficiency in the mental or intellectual capabilities. If you don't treat it, it may lead to further complications. So, like any serious disease, early diagnosis and treatment is very, very important. It can prevent the gradual cognitive decline, that is the decline in your mental or intellectual abilities, and it also requires lifelong restrictions on your diet. For instance, the diet which contains phenylalanine, you can decrease the amount of food which contains these amino acids, so that there is no problem in the first place. So this is one of the way in which you can treat phenylketonuria. Then again, as this, you can see this figure, the victims of another disease known as maple syrup urine disease. What happened that it's again, not very rare, much rarer than the phenylketonuria, but still 1 in 185,000 individuals. So we cannot say it is as a real syndrome. It's still a very significant incidence, I would say. This disease occurs because of the deficiency in enzyme branch chain ketoacid dehydrogenase complex, and this enzyme or this complex, it affects the metabolism of certain amino acids, for instance of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. The result in this deficiency of this enzyme complex is that, of course, the enzymes will be accumulated in your body, and as we have been talking already, that accumulation of enzymes because of this very very composition of the accumulation of the amino acids, because the very composition of the amino acids can be very harmful for your body. It leads to toxic effects, and when there are toxic effects, one of the most vulnerable part of your body is your brain. That's why the children who face this disease, they will have some real mental problems related with their mental abilities. A treatment, as with many other amino acid related treatments, is that early diagnosis is very crucial. Branch chain amino acid restricted diet, the diets which doesn't contain these branch chain amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So you can give them the diet which contains less and less of these amino acids. It can somehow, of course, it cannot cure it, but it can somehow minimize the effect of this very severe disease. Then there is a disease which you already all of you know is the albinism. That is the hypopigmentation of your body. It occurs because of the melanin is not being produced well, and why melanin is not produced well? Because tyrosine is not being converted. Its metabolism is affected because the enzyme which is involved in the conversion of the tyrosine into the melanin, it is deficient or it's not working well. What will be the result? Of course, the hypopigmentation of your bodies, of your eyes, of your skin. Of course, it will also lead to vision issues. Then there is homocystinuria, again a very, I must say, severe amino acid metabolism problem which occurs because of the metabolism in the amino acid. This disease leads to the elevated level of homocysteine, because the homocysteine is converted into cystathionine. It is very much affected because of the enzyme, the PLP enzyme which is involved, the cystathionine beta synthase. It is not working well, and as a result of this, what happened that homocysteine, instead of going in the forward direction, that is the formation of cystathionine, instead of making cystathionine, it starts making more and more methionine because of its methylation, and this accumulation of methionine and the failure in the formation of cystathionine, it leads to many toxic effects, some of which are this, that you have skeletal anomalies, you have dislocation of your lens. Again, as I've told you, whenever we're talking about the accumulation or excessive accumulation of amino acids because of metabolic disorders, one of the most vulnerable part of your body is your activity or the functions of your brains. And then also it leads to thrombosis, again a very harmful effect of this disease. Then finally there is the alkaptonuria, again a disorder of the metabolism of amino acids like phenylalanine or tyrosine. It is because of this disease is caused because of the deficiency in homogenetic acid oxidase. Some of the symptoms of alkaptonuria is arthritis, that is your bones, your skeletal muscles really give a lot of pain in your body. Then ochronosis. Ochronosis means your body get purple, dark blue pigmented structures on your body. This pigmentation can be seen on different parts of the skin, close to your eyes or other parts of the skin. Then, of course, one of the very big feature, one of the very, I must say, distinguishing feature of alkaptonuria is that the urine gets darkened. As is the case with other amino acids, that this disease can be managed by restricting the enzymes, restricting the amino acids or the diet which contains these amino acids, like restricting the diet which contains phenylalanine or tyrosine. So in this way, you have seen that the problems in the metabolism of amino acids give rise to lots of diseases, and almost all of these diseases occur are congenital in nature. They occur most of the, at least most of these in the babies, in the inborn babies, and also they are very much genetic in nature. And when we say that any disease is genetic in nature, there are many challenges. So one of the biggest challenges that you can't cure the disease, you have to manage it. And one of the best way to manage, we have been seeing that, is to take utmost care of your diet.